Welcome back to Screenfish Radio. I'm very excited about this week's episode because we have the Marvelettes have returned. I am so excited uh, for Miriam Ibrahim and Dina Hamdieh. Welcome back to you both. I am so glad we got to do this.
Thanks for having me back.
Excited to be
So
chatting
excited.
again. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I know that all the talk right now is about Fantastic Four. Um, but by the time this airs, that will have been out. But we have gathered to talk about something else they've dropped recently, and that is Ironheart, the latest series added to Disney Plus. Set after the events of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Ironheart picks up the story of Riri Williams, a young genius who wants to build her own legacy. After getting expelled, Riri is forced to return home to Chicago. With no cash to continue building her unbelievable iron suits, Williams feels at a loss. However, her life changes when she meets Parker Robbins. Willing to step outside the law, Robbins, or the Hood, invites Riri to join his team. Even so, there's something mysterious about him that Riri can't quite understand, and the more she finds out, the more dangerous things become. As always, this podcast is rated S for spoilers. Um, but let's get at it. What did you two think of Ironheart?
Mary, you want to go?
Sure. So I did like it, but I will admit some mixed emotions throughout. It took me on a bit of a roller coaster ride, and I think overall I liked it. I think it is. I know it's supposed to be the last installment, right, in Phase 4. Is that right? Um, so I thought it was an interesting close or bookend to how this phase has gone. But overall, I liked it, but definitely some ups and downs.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what phase it is. Is it? I think that phase
Are we
five.
in
Are we in
five? We're in
five
five.
Oh, maybe it's 5.
we're
Yeah.
in
I think,
six? I think with Fantastic Four is
yeah,
six.
yeah.
Okay.
I think we're
So,
in five because it's all going to lead up to Secret Wars and everything else. And there was just. Anyway, I agree. I agree with Mira. I had some mixed emotions. I did like it. I liked it for a reason that has been obvious since the moment we started podcasting together, which is remember when we talked about Mephisto? And I raved about this all along with WandaVision, and now they finally introduce this big,
yeah.
big bad. And I was like, okay, I mean, you picked Ironheart to do it, makes kind of sense, but I still wanted it to be WandaVision. But it's
Yeah.
fine. I'll take it when it comes. So
I-
for me, I had like this really like, oh yes, it's here moment. But I wished it was yes, it's here like 2 years ago or whenever WandaVision came out. But I liked it. I didn't like the acting of Riri Williams in the first episode, and then she kind of got better. But overall, I would say it was an enjoyable show. So that
I,
was my
I
thought.
actually think that she might, and I didn't think she was bad, but didn't think she was the best part of the series. I thought she,
No,
you know,
right.
I I didn't think I'd enjoy the digital best friend, and I had to look it up and
Natalie.
be
Yes.
like, "Oh, that's from the comics. Oh, that's a thing."
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Natalie. It's actually an acronym, which is funny. So
Which
that's
is it
what
was
we.
Jarvis was Friday.
Yeah.
Like it's fully in keeping with the Iron Man lore, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Natalie was my favorite, and I mean, that's just you. I mean, obviously because of the
Yeah.
personality, and I think the battle between this is kind of the world I worked in is like this battle between AI, data, ethics, and how when you create something, you can tell it what to do all you want, but at the end of the day, it can defy you, and you
Yeah.
really, really have to have guardrails and guidelines. So I kind of geeked out on the concepts that they introduced there, like kind of under under the surface, but yeah, I think she was my favorite. I did like Parker as well, and I love Joe. So there are certain people that I liked in the show more than Riri,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
I will say that, like, so Mephisto, so I'm very light touch on the comics, right? You're really the comic guru of the three of us, without question, Dina. But I remember talking about Mephisto when we were podcasting WandaVision, and I didn't know too much about Mephisto until we talked about it, and then I did some like, ooh, let me go and learn more. So when, and I will admit that, like, as I was watching the early episodes, because you don't really get his name until the end, right? It's like the very last episode where he's like, oh, my name is. But because I Googled like the info on the show, it gives you the cast. And so I saw that Sacha Baron Cohen was Mephisto, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Mephisto?
You gotta stay away from all that.
I know.
But yeah, no, but I liked seeing it. There was a scene in there at the end of the last episode where he's drinking his coffee and he pulls out the spoon and you can see the red reflection in the spoon, and it's him, not the way you see him, but it's him. He is basically the devil, and you're making a deal with the devil. And I just thought like those kinds of things are really cool. So I'm glad he's introduced. It's not where I wanted him to be, but it's fine. I'll take it. Like I'll take it where I can get it. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun how they tie him into phase 6 or whatever, because he's gonna have to be one of the big bads for sure. So
I will say, and I was talking to somebody about this recently, it does feel like it was thrown into a blender, as many of these shows have felt. Even the ones I've enjoyed, very few of them have felt like they had a full-on plan, like they were trying to figure it out. So this is the last one before the creative reset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts was the first film after the creative reset, but they've got these shows that they need to. I think Wonder Man might be, actually. I'm not sure of that or not, but they're just sitting there. They're like, oh, we gotta
do
get
something.
rid of this.
Yeah.
But I need to give it credit where it's due, because I want my negative to it is, again, it kind of similar to with X-Men 97. It never breathes. It's like throws things at you constantly.
Yeah.
I got to give it credit where it's due. The two cliffhangers, which now wouldn't be considered a cliffhanger but they released them in episodes of 3. So the third episode and the 6th episodes were among the best cliffhangers they've given us in TV series in a very, very long time. I loved that they set her up. They talk about her like the next Tony Stark, and she is a failure.
Yeah.
I think I found that fascinating, because to me, having watched all this content over the last decade and a half, there are very few times when they just let the centerpiece fail.
Yeah.
And boy, does she bomb out in this series.
Yeah, she does. And who knows, she may bomb out and become, a villain herself, right? Because here's the thing with her is she was trying to do the right thing, right? She wanted to create it for the right reasons, first responders, like she wanted to help. But every single time she was doing it by being shady and getting money in shady ways to kind of fund this good cause that she's going after. And then she gets Parker and, offers her money. And again, she falls for it and does the bad things to get to the bigger cause. But at the end there, at the last episode, you're absolutely right about the Mephisto thing. She was there and she is intrigued. She's seeing Natalie. He's back. I get everything I want. And all I have to do is shake hands with this guy, and it's okay. And so I think she's battling it's like a battle between her ethics, her morals, and like this, like, I can do this because I can do this for the cause. But I think she misses the cause at the end. And I think it's fascinating that she's not going to be Tony Stark. She may end up making the deal with the devil, and then who knows what he'll use her. Yeah. He'll use her as a tool, right? And she'll be a stronger tool than Parker.
Yeah.
So but she does make the deal, doesn't she?
She does. I was going to say, it seems pretty clear. She shakes hands, you see. Yeah.
But there's this battle, though, when she's thinking about what it could be like with Natalie, and then it comes back to him, and he's speaking to her in her mind. that you're thinking, okay, well, maybe like she won't take the steps. And I'm saying that she may actually turn out to be the villain in this, because that lead up of will she, won't she, but she's seeing all the possibilities of, if I do it, well, of course I want to do it because I get all the stuff. It's a real, I agree with Steve, she's a complete failure in terms of her hero's journey. But I don't know what they're thinking for her in the future. And I think that in one of the episodes they said, like, why don't you call Shuri and like get advice? And
she's like, and tell her what?
Yeah, but maybe she should have, right? Like maybe a person who really wants to take down the right path and not the easy way would have called Shuri and said, listen, I need some of that Wakanda cash.
And it's funny because we saw that same, like, so I'm with you, like she just good intentions, but the expression, the road to hell is paved with good intention. Like good intention,
literally here,
right?
Yeah,
it's true. But I feel like we also saw that happen in a truncated way with Zeke's character, right? Like, so we saw the exact pattern. It just was accelerated and shorter. And then she's living that pattern more like through the full 6-episode arc.
Yeah.
Where for him, it was like 2-3 episodes.
But even with him, he had this his background story of his dad being this person and being the bad guy and actually just going after the bad thing. Didn't even really have a good cause. Whereas Zeke, his whole goal was, hey, I want to actually make a purpose. Zeke was Riri and actually going for the right causes and did it the right way. And then all of a sudden she betrays him, whatever happens, and he turns. But even near the end, it almost seemed like he was going back to his good guy roots. In a way, I didn't feel like with her at all.
Yeah, I think he's tainted. I don't know that he's fully back to
tainted, but I think tainted because of what happened to him, because he's become this person he didn't want to be.
Yeah.
But there was like glimmers of, other than him not forgiving her, but I see Joe coming back from it than Riri for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why I felt that way near the end. I just felt this happened to him. He was like forced into this situation, whereas she made all of the decisions to do this. Even when Parker was like saying he could, Zeke, you have to do everything I say. And he did. He was controlled from the beginning, even though he tried his damnedest to be nice and like, take a back seat. But I don't know. I just, with Riri, I have this like really bad feeling where she's like the facade of good, but
she's going to end up being like the most evil villain. Yeah.
Which is interesting because I think that they were very generous with her story. Like this, like they make sure that what she feels. Like she is never portrayed as a villain. She's just not portrayed as a hero.
Right.
And,
right.
We see what she's been through, and there a lot of times in the series, like we just don't judge her for it. I was really interested to see how they were going to dig out of the hole. I was a little disappointed, but how dig out of the hole when she essentially kills that guy at the end of the 3rd episode. And it's like, but even then they still offer her grace. It's like, you know what? Okay, you blew it. We're going to pull you out of this, but it just keeps saying, like, she just keeps getting dragged back. So you talk about the broken system and all this stuff, and it gives her a lot of grace. But she still can't seem to get it together. And that's why I thought the ending was so riveting, because it's so rare for us to see somebody that a series is based on not make the right call, right? Yeah. In the end, they can make mistakes along the way.
Totally.
In the end. So here's my
unless you're Anakin Skywalker. Like, I get it's a different series.
Oh, right.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Well, here's a question then, and I don't want to compare them because I understand the backstories are different and all this stuff, but I do want to compare them because the show does. Is she Tony Stark? And I know, Dina, you sort of said she isn't, but is she or isn't she? Because Tony didn't start off great either.
No, he did not. But I don't think, for me, so it depends. For me, I think it's she wants to be like Tony Stark and has, by the way, the goods to be. But she's sort of like, think of it as somebody who, like, she won the science fair. She's very smart, but she's sort of like I learn on my own thing. I'm self-taught kind of thing. And I need, millions of dollars. She was more driven by, I need the money to make the thing.
Mm.
Whereas she doesn't, though. And that's why her mom was pivotal in that one episode where she's like, no, let's go. I got an idea. And she takes her to the garage and,
Mhm.
here's all the things you need to build what you need. And I think it takes her out of that mentality of, I need money to build the thing. With Tony, it was sort of, he just built it even when he was in the cave, right? And very early on, he just took what he had and he built the thing. And I think, so do I think she's Tony Stark? No. The comparison is valid, but I don't think that she turns out to be like a Tony Stark, in my opinion. She can build, an army around with all of the money that she has. She has to figure out, I don't know where they take her with this. She has to figure out what she wants to be. If you want to be for the good, you can make do with what you got, right? And then actually, but she comes at it from I need the money now, which is, and then she plagiarizes and she does all the shady stuff. And I get that Tony was also kind of like that, but Tony figured it out fast enough that that's not what you need. He was already rich, but it was not what you need to get to that end goal. So for me, I think she has a lot to battle with. I don't think she's Tony Stark, but I have my biases. I do think that out of most people in this, I really like Zelma. And the reason I like Zelma is because, and Zelma is the one with like the maggots and the witch magic stuff. Zelma's actually is going to be a pivotal character going forward. And I'm not talking about like the post-credit scene with Parker, but she in the comics is Doctor Strange's apprentice, basically. Like, she's self-taught. She, like, it's not like she goes to school. He takes her back to Carmitage and she becomes his apprentice. First, he wanted her to be his librarian. Then she becomes his apprentice. She learns all the stuff, but she had a pivotal role in the series. Like, we all should be talking about how she basically turned the suit into magic. Like, I got glimpses of Wanda immediately. And to me, if she can harness that like magic to not be so gullible, because I think Zelma is so much wanting to be liked and wanting to be wanted for her knowledge, she's constantly prefacing like, well, if I do this, there's going to be consequences. And it's like, so I think for me, Zelma's a big character, and I don't know what happens next with her, but I don't know what you thought about her at all, but I don't hear enough people talking about her specifically.
I'm with you on that. I think she was pretty fab. I want to go back to the is Riri Tony Stark, and I have a bit of a different take than Dina. I think Riri is Tony Stark without the privilege. And so he already had the money, white man, like all of the privilege was there. So his arrogance shone through. I think she had a very similar arrogance. But because of the obstacles, because of the lack of privilege, it played out very differently. So I think if Tony, like if they'd switched places, they would have behaved like each other, if that makes sense. I think that was the
for circumstances.
Yeah,
you're talking
exactly.
about like the different, but I think yes, and I agree with you. I think though she did have the opportunity. So we're talking about privilege. She got into MIT.
She totally did.
Poo-pooed on that. Then she goes and okay, I paid for the suit. I plagiarized. So I think even with privilege, okay, her connection to Wakanda, her connection to she still had so much arrogance to the point where she messed that up. So to me, but yes and no.
Tony's equally arrogant.
I know, but
super equally arrogant. He arcs to becoming a hero, and she's arcing away from it. But
I don't even think she wants to be a hero. I think she became like, I don't know what her purpose is in terms of saving something. She doesn't have anything to save. Even when she's talking about the good causes, she wasn't talking about it like Joe was talking about it when they were in, like, she's not like Tony was he wanted to be the hero. Yes, arrogant. Yes, pompous. Yes, flashy lights. Yes, big fucking whatever, house in the sky. But she didn't have a purpose. She wasn't saving anything.
Yeah.
She just wanted to build it because she can. And
she says that literally.
I know. And that's why I'm saying, like, the difference for me there is, even with privilege, if she was given it, with money, if she was given it, she did not have the path, which is why I think they have a plot twist of what they're going to do with her, perhaps, because of the way it ended. I don't know if she's going to be a big villain or whatever. I think it's just going to be an arc that takes a bit longer to get to the hero.
Yeah.
Which could be interesting.
Maybe a redemption story in there then at some point?
Yeah, I think it could be interesting. Like, it could be like she goes to Wakanda and has
Yeah.
to sit with Shuri for a bit and has to like do things the hard way. Same thing with Bucky, right? When Bucky was shipped off to
Mm.
Wakanda, he kind of realized, and I think there's
So
just some
Wakanda is
sense of,
Marvel rehab. Is that basically
you
what we're
know what?
saying?
If it works, it works. I'm down for it.
No,
I
Yeah.
but
just
you
think that
you
she's not.
said the B word, and we all know that guy sucks.
Okay, yes, we know
So,
you don't like him. I'm saying he came through. He was bad, and then
But come
he got.
on, like Thunderbolts,
well,
like there's some good turnaround there.
the B word in
I
him
know.
is
I'm
not Bucky.
sorry.
It's
See,
boring. The
Yeah.
man is boring.
it came to my head. I'm like, I shouldn't have brought up Bucky because Steve was
We
not
got here.
impressed.
Thanks for
Yeah,
joining us, everybody. This was
he was an example. Don't
And
shut
to
the
all a good night.
don't
Yeah.
don't end our precious field trip. Okay, just let's slow the bus down. I'll I'll, I'll retract my statement. No, but yeah, I agree with you. But in some ways, I think she's no. I don't think she's gonna be. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm biased now against her a little bit. But Zelma won my heart. Natalie won my heart.
Mm.
You
So
know, going back to Velma or Velma?
Zelma, I think it's Zelma with a Z.
Zelma.
Yeah.
Um, one of the things that I saw in this movie, and I'd love to hear, or series, sorry,
Mm.
from you both. This to me is the product of 15 years of storytelling progression in that Tony Stark built that stuff in a cave,
Mm.
pile of scraps,
Totally. Yep.
Mm.
and they bent over backwards in those early movies
Yep.
to make sure that it was science.
Yep.
Mm.
Even Thor
Yep.
says, he says, in my world, or what does he say? Like, here you call it magic, in my world we call it science, but it's one
Yeah.
and the same.
It's
And it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, it's magic, but it's okay because it's science. They bent over backwards to make sure that it was science, and they powered the suit with
Mm.
magic here.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is how I'm going to say bonkers, but how
Yeah.
wild the MCU is like, don't worry, guys, we're
Gone in
crazy
different
now.
directions. Yeah. Yeah.
And I find that fascinating that magic you could do anything with magic. We're
Yeah.
going to use it to power the suit. You could not
Well,
have made that 10 years ago.
yes, but the cost, right, is that magic and science can't exist together in the same
Same. Yeah.
space, right? So when the suit got the magic, it bumped out Natalie. She
Yeah.
disappeared. That was the cost. Can't coexist with the science.
That's right.
Which
Yes.
I think will build some interesting because if you think about like all of the movies, right, and all of the like the lore, the canon so far, Wanda, Doctor Strange, even Thor. Thor maybe is the closest to blending magic and science,
Yeah.
but Wanda and Doctor Strange full on magic. Iron Man full on science. Hulk full on science. Like they kind of are two camps. And then I think Thor maybe sort of brought them together because you had Natalie
Yeah.
Portman's character who was a scientist trying to like make the connection. But I think what this movie's saying is they can't coexist, and magic fights magic, science fights science, right? So when she was wanting to be Tony Stark, it was science, and then when she was working to battle against the Hood. Dormammu was what they thought, right?
Yeah.
All the evil. Now it has to be magic because only magic fights magic. I think they're kind of doing a versus. Who would win? Magic versus science? And the answer is they don't fight each other. Magic fights magic and science fights science.
That is interesting. I had not picked that up before. Actually, you're right. I'd forgotten that about the fact that Natalie could not exist in the suit. But the fact that we're even having this conversation,
Yeah.
this is all like this is a huge progression. Like I remember
Totally.
when they
Yeah.
brought in Doctor Strange, they were just hoping that people
Oh
bought.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted people to fall for it, and it's like, sure, and it was good, but you're right. It was a huge like foreign concept of everything that just came about, and then you introduce this guy who's doing the squiggly things, and he's
Yeah.
you know, but for me, I didn't mind the magic piece with the suit. Like I didn't mind that she kind of summoned whatever magic from Dormammu and put in the suit. It didn't like to your point, Steve, it didn't feel like there was enough investment in the science of it as she was like building the suit, right?
Mm.
Like for me, it was very like with Tony and back in the day, it was like you knew that they were creating this. It was sort of like she just had all the stuff in her head and she's just like, and she did it in like an hour because she had to work the next day and bring the suit. Like it just didn't, there
Yeah.
wasn't enough actual science investment. She didn't show us her work. And I guess that kind of bothered me
Mm.
because even when like Banner and Tony would like work together and they're like sitting and talking in the lab, like there was some aspect of showing work. In this, it just said, oh, she's smart, so she's just taking a formula she's written, I don't know when, in a notebook. She's just bloopity blopping and putting things on. It didn't feel like she was showing us her work, and that's just what I felt like.
But hold on, Tony Stark solved time travel eating an
I
ice pop.
know, I that's true, that's true. But
Took
he
his daughter to
earned
bed and he
those
went,
stripes.
I did
And
He
it.
and
he earned
yeah.
those stripes. He earned that popsicle, and he earned to do the spinny wheelie thing. And it comes out, and he says, you know, shit.
Yeah.
He earned that, okay?
Yeah,
he earned
but
that after all those movies. We
but
just getting introduced to her, and I'm like, I don't think you're as smart as you are. I
okay,
don't know.
but we're not just getting introduced to her. Like if somebody hasn't watched Wakanda Forever, fair.
Yeah,
You're only seeing this piece, but this isn't the first time we're meeting this character.
but she wasn't, it was a snippet of her back then too. And it wasn't,
Yeah.
this is your show, okay? You're not a guest in
You're
another
not a side
movie.
character.
This
Yeah.
is your show. I don't know that you're as brilliant as you are supposed to be.
Well,
Period.
and you're also right in that it's not a movie, so it's not like we got to make everything fit in 2 hours or two and a
Totally.
half hours. You had 6 45-minute episodes, so you had 4.5 hours
Yeah.
to make room for it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
They
even
did a
talking about
lot
it.
in 4.5 hours. Like I was talking to someone recently that said that they cut down the number of episodes, and I could feel
Crazy.
it. This is
Yeah.
that's
It
a
was
huge
compact.
thing.
I agree with you.
There
It
was a
was.
lot of things that felt like they were thrown into a blender to be like, we need to get moving here. We've got
Yeah.
6 hours.
Yeah.
We've got to like
Cut it
introduce
down.
everyone, and now there's magic, and
Yeah.
oh, we got to
And
get
the magic thing came out of, I mean, Zelma, like I
nowhere,
said,
out
it
of
came out of
nowhere.
nowhere, to be fair to like the audience.
But
Came out of nowhere. I was just geeking out about it because I'm like, fine, like show me the red stuff again. I want the snowballs again, please. But that's me, right? And the people watching it may be like, wait, what? Where did this? How?
see,
Where?
I loved the surprise of like they go to the shop, they're selling candy, snaps her fingers, suddenly they're in like the basement. Like
Right?
I
So
loved it. Like I was like, ooh, that's a good little unexpected twist here. Yeah.
yeah. So there are some good parts. I just like for me it was really the battle between just having new technology, science, and then the
Mm,
battle with ethics, right? And having like the battle with morality and ethics with using such technology, and then the technology not obeying you and really turning on you if it wants you, even though it's a reflection of you. It's literally made up from your mind. And
yeah.
that to me, and having a mind of its own, like Natalie trying to, persuade Riri, oh, listen, let's go back to our childhood, or here's what your dad was like, and here's a memory. And it's sort of
Yeah.
like, you're not supposed to do that as an AI. You do what you're told. You
Yeah.
don't have a conscience. So I think it's, for me, it was a different battle that the show was trying to highlight, and that's why it
Mm,
felt so crammed, maybe, because it was, to your point, Miriam, it was like battle between science and magic can't exist together, and then it's like technology and ethics, like what do you do? How do you
yeah.
control it? What are the so for me it was a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting in these things because there are certain things like I know that, well, again, I think this was part of that creative reset, but like they felt like they were rushing. Everything
yeah,
felt rushed to me, but they did a good enough job to keep me engaged
yeah,
along the
Mm,
way. Like I'm not
mhm.
gonna put my hand up and say this is the best thing they've ever done. It's not. It's a bumpy ride.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I was very interested in the ethical dilemmas,
yeah,
Mephisto's arrival, and not just because, oh, yay, Mephisto's there. They did it beautifully.
yes, they
Mm,
did.
Like and it's interesting because they're running, 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 and then they slow down, and that's why it's so
mm,
good.
mm.
Hmm.
Like they're even the scenes with him and Parker, like they are
Yeah, so good.
meaty. They
Yeah.
Yeah,
are meaty.
Yeah.
And and that's why I said even that scene where she kills that man, one of the team members by locking him in and flying
Cousin
away.
Johnny. Yeah.
Cousin John, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, those are the moments that really hit. Like I remember watching it,
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, this is not bad. It's pretty good. But when the moments hit, I thought they hit really well.
Hmm.
Did she struck me as really conflicted in that moment.
She did. She
Yeah.
was conflicted.
Scared out of her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was also suffocating, and I mean,
Yeah.
I get that part. I was like, well, what would you do in that moment? I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. And she was saying, you killed Rampage, and like there was a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
emotion there. I mean, she's not as tight to Rampage, but I don't know. It just sounded like she was a bit angry as well,
Mm.
and he was coming after her. It wasn't like they weren't.
Right. And she wasn't an active agent of his death, right? She let him die
Exactly.
versus
Yeah.
like physically dealt a blow that
Yeah.
killed him. Now that's very fine line ethically. Like,
But
is
it's
it
also
any
ethics. But
different?
like I said, ethics literally flows throughout this whole thing. Would you
Yeah.
let somebody die in a room which you were also suffocating in? You got to get out, and you
Yeah.
don't take him out and kill him some other time if you must. I just feel like there is. So for me, she struggled a lot with her decision making
Yeah.
throughout the show, and it really, I think, it hindered a lot of the
And
things that. Yeah.
yeah, she didn't learn, right? So to your point about like her arrogance, despite the fact that things kept not going the way she thought they were going to go, she never every time she made a decision, she stepped into it with so much confidence. Like with Zeke and the I don't want to get caught and her taking
Yeah.
the bio skin, right? And she was like, "Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. You won't, you won't, you won't." And then she doesn't even realize, I think, that she
But
dropped
even
it until
and
after
even the
he gets
way,
arrested.
yeah,
Yeah.
and even the way she went to visit him when he got arrested, the way she was even talking about it, like,
Yeah.
don't worry, like I didn't mean. It's like, excuse me, I'm
Yeah.
in here, you're out there, I
Yeah.
helped you. So I think even the way she approached apologies or approached
Yeah.
reflection was flawed. And again, it comes down to she just believed that she can do it, and she believed that I am above it, and I'm worthy of this. And I think, her mom kind of brought her back to earth. And I like that she sort of said to her, like, you need to stop. She
Yeah.
said running away, I'd start fighting. And I was like, well, I'd like her to reflect first because I think she needs to reflect on her mistakes.
No
But
time for that, Dina.
her,
It's only 4.5 hours. No
I
time for
know, I
reflection.
know. But her mom was good. I liked her mom kind of bringing her down, saying,
Yeah.
like, it's my job to keep you safe, taking her to the garage. Like, I
Yeah.
even liked Natalie, like, showing her the memories that this is
Yeah.
what you're forgetting. I just didn't like that Natalie did it out of turn. It
It
wasn't asked to do it, but that's
it
it.
is sorry, Dina, I want to go back to something you said there, but is Riri arrogant? Because I don't know if she's I don't know if that's the right word to describe her because the one thing I felt like certainly she's got issues. Um, but arrogance suggests that I don't know. Arrogance suggests to me like I think Tony was arrogant.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to the privilege thing. I think she was defensive. And I
Okay.
think everything is about proving that she is better than everybody. Like nobody seems to think that she's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
And
Maybe it is like a lack of self confidence slash defensiveness.
like
She comes off as
like
confident.
overcompensating. Maybe
Yeah,
Yeah.
overcompensating is the
overcompensating.
word.
I
Yeah.
think the other thing too that I was just reminded of that we're forgetting is it's also a little bit the folly of youth. Like she got into MIT at 15
Yeah.
and she gets
Yeah.
kicked out before she's graduated. This young woman is like 17 maybe. Like
Which is
she's
wild.
young,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
But
Like
can I
we
just,
forget that.
but the show didn't remind us of that as much. So this is the
Yeah.
problem. So the minute we get introduced to that was, things in the background, like we saw her winning the science fair, but also
Mm.
Uncle Joe, or whatever his name is, cousin John.
John, yeah.
He's the one who introduced us to how she got to where she got to when he went to pay for her stuff. And
Yeah.
he's like, she graduated this, and
Yeah.
I'm like, awesome. Now I know. But they should have reminded us again, because that's such a good point about being young. Everything was
Mm.
rushed through. She was so smart that she got kind of further down without learning some of those kind of life lessons.
Yeah.
Got to MIT, like got to go to, so maybe it is. But I forgot about that actually after cousin John. I didn't know what her
Yeah.
age was.
Yeah, I didn't think about it again
Yeah.
till Steve was just talking about, was she arrogant? Like Tony's arrogant. And I was like, oh, but also you're right. She's defensive because
Yeah.
she's young and she's still
Yeah.
figuring stuff. Like,
And
yeah.
Tony
Yeah,
was
that's a
like
good point.
40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. And still
Yeah.
hasn't learned a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's fair. That's fair.
it's funny because I want to defend her a bit, but I also don't because she's clearly flawed. Like she's in way over her head.
Totally. Yeah.
But that's what I liked about the show. That again, this is I liked that they had somebody who almost didn't learn anything by the end of the show. It's weird to say that.
Yeah.
Even Loki, first season of Loki, he's got that sort of
Yeah. Dilemma.
attitude, but by
Yeah.
the end, he sort of spun a little bit and he's sort of grown, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, now, is he good? He's a good guy now, you
Yeah.
And
know?
he's selfless. He was like selfless near it when he's just known to be all about himself, like
Yeah,
the whole time. So it kind of
Yeah.
did a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But here, she just doesn't learn anything. She's like the whole time she like feels bad. She's got to, but she keeps trying to fix it. I gotta wear the suit.
And
Yeah.
always by herself.
Always
Yes.
by herself. Yes.
And all roads led to the suit or money. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, no. Because,
Yeah.
remember when Natalie showed up, when she created her, she was really rude and like
Mm-hmm.
dismissive and whatever. And she didn't understand, like, she had different tools that she could use, right? So yeah, I agree with you. I think but maybe that was the whole, like, maybe that is the point we're supposed to take away, and it's going to lead to something even better than the show for her. Because to me, she was not the highlight.
Yeah.
And I didn't even find her to be the hero, which is,
Interesting. Yeah.
to me, it wasn't even her show. Like, I would have given the show more to Parker because of that journey that he took on, where he
With
comes
his
from this
dad.
wealthy family.
Yeah.
Gets kicked out, has to make do. Now he's with, cousin John. They have to break in. He has this mission, as greedy and disgusting as it is. Because again, when somebody comes to you and says, what's the number one thing you want? Like any of us humans,
Yeah.
each of us will have different things based on how we were raised.
Yeah.
What do we think is right? What do we think is wrong? And all he could say is, I want to be filthy, disgusting, rich
Yeah.
person.
King
I want to
Rich.
have
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I want to have it all. Versus if you ask someone else, what do you want? Riri is a perfect example. I just want my best friend back.
Yeah.
I just want to have that memory, that I want that back. They're making a deal with the same bad person.
Yeah.
But different things can materialize from your wish or your want.
Do you think that her story's not over in the sense of like main character?
Yeah,
Or
I
is
don't.
she
Yeah, they're
like,
gonna do a season 2 for
They'll
sure.
do a season
Yeah.
2 for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I think they wanted us to feel this way, to be honest, about the show. Like Steve, what Steve
conflicted,
said.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And not conflicted, but be like she failed. They
Yeah.
wanted us to feel like she failed to bring her back into.
But you
arc.
do like, and I think Stevie said as well, like you do feel her pain. Like they did a really
Totally.
good job of having you feel, like for me, that like stop breathing moment was when the mom is talking to her about Natalie and she's like, can you bring Gary back?
I know, I can't. My heart dropped for that one too.
Right?
It was
Like
really
you just,
sad.
I think I stopped breathing for like a second. I was like, right? Like you really felt it. Like you feel the pain of the loss. You feel the longing of like, I just want a moment back with my loved one. And it's very motivating. Like it makes sense as motivating, which is why I believe very confidently that she took the deal at the end with Mephisto, because that was so motivating. Right?
That's what I'm saying to you. Like it's based on just what you value. What is it that you want most? Like it wasn't greed, like to her credit. It wasn't greed. Yeah. It wasn't even money. It was
which she's been chasing the whole season,
I
but
know.
Wasn't that? Yeah.
But so it's just interesting to get different people with different moral compasses or different motivations, and and that's what I'm saying. Mephisto is going to use her differently than he used Parker. Parker was sort of like a useful idiot that he knew he wanted something so badly, and Mephisto can just say, "Yeah, sure, I'll give it to you," and then he'll want more.
Do you think Mephisto, like, this is where I'm struggling a little, other than Mephisto's a supervillain, and so it's the long game. I can't tell the motive, like Mephisto's motivation for bringing the hood, for engaging Parker, for shifting that. Now Parker's no good, so I'm gonna like focus on Riri. But other than being a chaos agent, like I can't tell what Mephisto's end game is or what he gets out of it.
Well, we don't
That
know
is
it.
what he is. Yeah, we don't know yet, but he is a chaos agent. Actually, that's the funny thing that there's a scene in the show where the guy is talking about how Thanos was right, or something like Thanos was right, or whatever, in the street. Like there's like a quick
Yeah,
shot of
yeah.
in the street some crazy guy. So the whole point of Mephisto is he would be that guy on the street. Like he would take over that guy's body and
Mm,
say such nonsense things that people are already feeling like, yeah, buddy, we know, like we've lived it. Like Thanos came,
yeah.
snapped his fingers. So he is that kind of, I guess you could say, demon that does these
Mhm.
types of things. There isn't like a Thanos goal for Mephisto just yet. Because
Right.
remember,
Right.
if they did this with WandaVision, I'd have a completely different storyline because I
Mm.
know what happens with WandaVision,
What,
right? He and like
don't they have a
they have the
kid
kids.
together?
Yeah,
Like,
they have the
yeah,
two
yeah.
kids. That
Right.
those are Mephisto's kids,
Oh,
and
interesting.
he
Yeah.
uses the kids to drive her crazy because then she has to go like looking for the. So that it's a whole storyline. With this, honestly, it could go any way. It could
Mm.
be that he used Parker to get to Riri.
Mm.
That Riri was the end goal the entire time,
Right.
right? And so then what you do is then you have somebody you can completely control, Riri, like Zeke was controlled,
Yep.
and think about the damage that could do. Having
Yeah.
someone like that build an army or whatever, be a
Yep.
Tony Stark, but for you.
Yep. Yep.
And maybe the whole goal is I want to destroy Earth and all the Earthlings. Like it could be anything.
Yeah.
I don't think for the MCU we know yet. But
And for a character like Mephisto, the destruction of good is the goal.
Is
yeah,
enough end game. Yeah.
Which sounds so,
I
metaphysical.
know.
What you know what I'm
But
saying?
it's true. But he's the
But
devil,
that's
though,
it.
Steve. You're
He's the
right.
devil.
What
But
does the devil do? It sits on your shoulder, and what does it do? It gives
yeah.
you doubts. It tells you things.
Yeah.
It questions you, and then you're like, oh well, maybe if I did this, then I could have that. That's the whole point. And
Yeah.
there's like a religious element to it, perhaps,
Yeah.
but that is the point, right? If you think about it down to the basics, and so would be a cool concept to take it down to test people's morality in the MCU.
Yeah.
Hey, if Mephisto was the big bad and could just, which way would you go?
The one thing I will say is interesting. I know they haven't done this as much in the shows, and my brain's a little on top of this because it was even in the Smurfs. But I was totally expecting some kind of connection to a multiverse somehow. That's the one thing that I was like, oh, Marvel's been super on this multiverse scenario for so long.
Well, they already did the magic.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but it
Yeah,
wasn't like, yeah,
that's the only connection.
yeah,
They did not mention it. They didn't.
right, and it wasn't like, yeah,
They've completely abandoned that now. They're like, we've beaten a dead horse. It's done. Yeah. No, I like
interesting,
that. I
yeah,
like that. I like the so Mephisto, he said in the show that he deals with politicians, he deals with, bigwigs, CEOs, all the stuff, he
yeah,
makes
yeah,
deals. That is his goal. He literally goes around. And if you look at the MCU, he's probably made deals, and we'll probably find out in the future, made deals with a lot of the people that we've seen be mini villains in these mini
mm,
series that have been on Disney. And maybe that'll come out to say, hey, here's the deal I made with this person, and look at the decision they
yeah,
made when you watched such and such
all
show.
part of
Yeah,
like the chess game that he's playing. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So you
I
will
would
see.
be totally okay if, like they're talking about, if Mephisto becomes the big bad for the TV series world.
Yes.
We
But it won't be the MCU because we already have.
no, what about
no, the
the
MCU is
villain
talking
from
about.
the Loki, from the I don't remember his name.
Well, what they're talking about now is breaking apart a little
Yeah.
bit. They're not, so
Okay.
it's not like they're going to be totally exclusive, but you don't have to have followed all the shows to follow all the movies because that's been their
They
biggest
can't do
flaw.
it. Yeah, and they can't do that now. It's
It's
too
been
much.
the
It's too
biggest issue.
so
Yeah,
many like deep dives you have to go into. It's different
yeah,
for the first phase, the first couple of phases when we were leading up to Infinity War. It was so easy, right? It was like I could
yeah,
follow this, and then the post credit
yep.
scene was that. They can't do that now. They have too many things. They're too in the weeds with the shows. But Maybe they'll come back for Secret Wars. Maybe Secret Wars will bring.
Well, so I did a little Googling after watching, and there are some tie-ins to like the What If. So the What If series on Disney
Wasn't the
Plus.
Hood in it? Wasn't the Hood in? Yeah.
There's one where I was reading it. I don't know if it was Screen Rant or where, but there's a bunch of like What If episodes that actually literally play out in this series, like in the show. So it's like, what if this happened? Well, yeah, that was episode such and such. What if that happened? Well, that was episode this over here.
Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
So there is some crossover there.
Yeah. The What If series is awesome. Like,
yeah.
It's so cool. But I haven't taken a look at that. I did. Did you say what was that thing you said? Screen Crush?
Screen Rant?
Screen Rant.
Screen Rant.
Yeah.
What's that about Screenfish?
No, right? Screenfish too. I'm like, every time I'm like, Screenfish, which would be nice. But apparently, and I only read about this literally today, the guy who runs Screen Rant, or the guy Ryan, I don't know, Irie or whatever his name is, he was actually listed. Remember when they were looking up the black market people, that Natalie was looking up the black market folks for Riri, and she found Joe? One of them was the guy from Screen Rant. They actually put him in his name.
Oh, really?
And he's not in Marvel. He's not like a producer or anything. But isn't that cool to become like
kind of fun draw?
So big that you're like, not even big, but they just pick you out of a hat, I guess, and they put you in. And I just thought that was kind of a cool thing.
Is really cool.
Maybe that'll be Screenfish. You'll be the next, Steve.
Goals.
Your name is going to be listed on one of those screens one day in the movies.
It's like Stan Lee showing up in everything. It's like
an Easter egg.
Not many people noticed, but Mephisto was wearing a Screenfish merch, and we thought that was the best way to market.
That's the way.
Product placement.
Product placement.
We'd like the devil to wear our shirt, actually.
The devil was wearing the shirt, but only in the spoon when he was stirring the
coffee.
Right. You can only see it. It's very artistic. Yeah. We're very artsy over here.
Well,
I love it.
Listen to you both. I hate to do this, but we're running out of time.
I know. It's always fast when we have fun.
I missed this. We should screen it or skip it. Ironheart, screen it or skip it?
No, screen it. Screen it.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I think go either way, but I'm leaning a little more towards screen it than skip it.
Yeah, just screen it. You never know what's going to happen with Mephisto. And there's also references to Strange Academy that it could lead up to, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but it's the Xavier's Academy. It's all the big bads. Their kids actually go to that school. Anyway, I don't want to derail the conversation, but that would be freaking cool. So Marvel's listening. Strange Academy would be awesome. So. But yeah, no, screen it. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a strong one for me, a strong screen it for me, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I watched it. I did all 6.
And like I said, it's got a couple of those. I mean, we just talked about them, but the cliffhanger moments.
Yeah,
they were great moments. I honestly felt that they were some of the best that they've had in their series in a very long time. It's just. The series is a bumpy ride. It forces a lot of things, and the performances are fine. Like she's good.
Yep.
It's just it's not top tier.
Yeah,
but I'll say screen it for that reason. I mean, it's still fun. It's still a fun show.
See how compassionate I'm being compared to you two in this.
I know you're like screen it. We're like.
The kinder Dina has arrived. How many times have we done this where I'm like, Dina, like, it's not that bad.
Too many times.
The MCU is in the toilet.
No, I've said, that's it. It's over for me after Doctor Strange. I was like, nope.
See, this is the story of hope. There is always a potential thread for the future.
I'm just making better decisions. I'm making better deals with the devil this time. I'm not going totally violent. Yeah, I'm just a little violent. But yeah, no, this was so super fun. Thanks for having us, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you both. This was great. I appreciate you both. This has been so much fun.
I know. It's always a good time. Always.
It is. Yeah.
It is. It always is. And, as a reminder, you can find us where our podcasts are available. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, at Screenfish Online. Check out our website, screenfish.net, for reviews, features, giveaways, all that stuff. But thank you to you both, and for you at home, we started the conversation. This was Screenfish.